disagreeable.
She's out with a new edition of her Grammy-nominated memoir, Lovely One, just for young adults. The Dow is up 227 points in early trading. This is CBS News. Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Zipper.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
With Matt Lane, weekday afternoons 4:40 until all sports talk on News Radio WGNS. We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday morning roundtable with Rick and Wayne. And good morning, Wayne. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, brother. I got a good sleep after sleeping through the halftime of the Super Bowl. So, and the football game itself. So, usually with the Super Bowl, I'm for someone. I want someone to win.
Yeah.
This time, I just didn't care.
Really?
Yeah, just didn't care. So, watched the first half with Teresa and then drove back and missed halftime and then started channel surfing in the second half. So,
See, I think they're going to make a movie about the Seahawks this season because if you did any background with that coach, he was an analyst. So he is like Moneyball in baseball.
Okay.
He kind of became a head coach, but he uses analytics and how he picked his people and did what he did.
Well, I tell you what, the old saying is defense wins championships.
It sure does.
That's certainly
and kickers are worth something.
No doubt. But I can't wait till and I forget the old USFL and the XFL. They've combined. Are they the United Football League now? Is that
they are.
Right,
They
Brian?
play a majority of them, what, in Birmingham or something like that? Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to that. I'd still the old axiom, even bad football is better than no football. So yeah.
Hey, during COVID is when I really liked them because they imported sound, and it was really good. There wasn't a person in the stadium, and it sure sounded like there's 100,000 in there.
So also happy that the snow and ice has moved on, and I've enjoyed the last couple of days and hope this continues.
Well, it's going to flood this weekend, and Brian will get into that after our show,
hey,
but it's coming.
I can stand the rain,
out.
But the ice and snow is not any fun.
Well,
especially with all of us that do not know how to drive on snow. But hey, Rick, great guest this morning. We have Tommy Williams, the Director of Coaching, Jamon Brady, Technical Director, and Robert Cope, the treasurer of the Stones River Football Club. And gentlemen, pleased to have you, and I hope to be, maybe the term is edified today about soccer, because, I'm certainly lacking, and glad to have you. Welcome this morning, and maybe you gentlemen can tell our audience a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, I can kick it off. So my name is Robert Cope. So I grew up here in the Rutherford County area. Grew up in Smyrna. Grew up playing at the club Stones River. Obviously, we'll get into some of the name changes and some of the history. But it's been really exciting to be able to grow up in the community, be involved as a player in multiple roles, and now be on the board. To me, it's been quite the privilege to be able to have an impact at so many levels on the families and all the people in the community that have committed and have invested in our club. So obviously we can get more into the content, but I'll pass it to Tommy.
Yeah, so Tommy Williams, grew up here in Smyrna, Tennessee. Played soccer at Smyrna High School. Grew up playing in the local leagues. I was on the first travel or select team that Smyrna ever had many moons ago. Went to college to play Division I soccer at Western Kentucky. Left there, went to law school in New York at St. John's. Didn't know that I'd ever be in soccer again, let alone back in Smyrna again, to be honest. My family's still here, but thought career and all that was taking me somewhere else. And circumstances happened, came back here for what I thought was going to be a few months, left everything in storage up there. My nephew wanted to go or to play soccer. He knew his uncle was a soccer player, even though he barely knew me. And so I started coaching rec, and then they asked me to coach a second team because we always need a bunch of rec coaches. And then and somebody said, well, if you're going to be around here, why don't you help with a select team? I said, no. And then they said, okay, it practices on Tuesday. And then the coach quit after a week because he said the team wasn't any good. And so they said, well, you can't leave this team without a coach. And so I started coaching. And then before long, the guy that did my job at the time had to go back to England. And so they said, well, do you want to take over running the club? I said, hold on a second. I thought I was going to be an attorney and go back to New York. And fell in love with the game again, fell in love with our community. And so transitioned, tried to figure out how to make a living. We're a nonprofit. We don't make a ton of money doing what we do. And so I started bartending during the day and running the soccer club at night, and serving sweet tea and fried chicken during the day, and answering phone calls and running the logistics of the club as we grew the club from a relatively small, disorganized organization to what it is today. And so very blessed to get to do what we do, but it's definitely been a uncharted path for sure.
Jamon Brady, yeah, I started this journey at 4 years old, playing soccer. My neighbor across the street came over, and we were born a month apart, and so we did, up through school, we did everything together. But he came over one day and was like, hey, I signed up for soccer, you should too. And I go in and tell my dad, hey, my friend across the street, he signed up for soccer, I need to sign up as well. So my dad, being who he is, signed me up, knowing nothing about the sport or having any experience in it. And from there, it kind of took over. And so it was I tell everybody, my first love was falling in love with the sport of soccer. It gave me incredible highs as a kid, some great memories, incredible lows, coming up short in championship games and whatnot, many tears shed. But it kind of showed me what love was outside of parental love, outside of family love. And I've never lost that feeling for the game. Some of my best moments as a kid came through the sport of soccer, as I think back, very fond memories. But growing up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, soccer was a big thing in the community I grew up in. And so, again, that love and being able to share it at this point in time with kids and try to help them create some of the same lifelong memories and experiences that I had coming up. Soccer very much shaped me as a human. And my hope is that I have the ability to do some of those same things with the young people that we get to work with now. Like just kind of help shape young people is the driving force for me. So I feel fortunate and blessed to be able to do what I do, and to be able to do it in a sport and an environment that I love, and again to be able to potentially make memories and have an impact on young people's lives.
What position did you guys play? The difference.
As a kid, really young.
I didn't think y'all were playing. Just looking at you, I didn't perceive that.
Robert said, "Speak for yourself."
Right. What are you trying to say about me?
My bad.
No, I grew up playing mostly as an attacking player as a youth, but then as I got into high school, converted from an attacking player into the midfield and played some defense as well. Only position I really haven't played with any significance is goalkeeper. So kind of play all over.
Yeah, I grew up at a different time in soccer. Soccer's changed and evolved quite a bit tactically, and what positions are now versus what they were many moons ago again, or somewhat different. But I was a midfielder most of my life, and then in college they turned me into a forward, and so a bit of a transition there. So.
Yeah, no, so I grew up playing midfield, so I always tried to pride myself on being in shape, and typically I probably just ran too much instead of actually holding my position. But Ari always grew up playing.
Still does.
Thanks. It's effort. Come on.
I love the effort.
But now, so grew up playing midfield, but now I do still play a little bit, but now if I'm on a team with younger players, I definitely play in the back in defense because I don't have the cardio anymore. But yeah, growing up midfield was where I played for sure.
So for transparency, Robert here is my son-in-law, and he's the one that I'm a Pop Hall today because of Kayla and Robert. So he's near and dear to my heart. So how many kids are in y'all's program? Y'all serve?
The recreational program serves about 1,500 players a season, so about 3,000 a year, and then the competitive or select side, we've got about 650 that play on that side of things. So it's a big group.
That's a huge
big group.
Anybody that lives in Smyrna and they try to go to the post office to drop something off on Saturdays knows.
We don't talk about that because that gets us in trouble. So with the town, and but yeah, it's definitely a big organization. I'd be remiss if I didn't also say we have 2 adult leagues. We have a competitive and a non-competitive adult league, and so that's another couple hundred players that play adult soccer out there too, and super excited to introduce some new programs for the next couple of years.
With Nashville soccer coming to Nashville now and having a pro team, has that made an influx of more kids wanting to come out and gain? Have you seen an uptick in the enrollment because of that, or what influence does that have?
It's hard to read because, like, to some degree, we've gotten a little more proactive in some of our organizational things and how we're structured. Some of the things we're doing kind of took place at the same time as Nashville SC was coming into the market. I definitely think there will be a legacy boom from it because once it's in the marketplace, one generation gets familiar with the game in a way they weren't before, which means they're going to take their kids, they're going to take their grandkids. There's just more eyeballs on it, and it's kind of like a generation ago we called it like the Sports Center effect, right? If you can see your sport on Sports Center on TV, it seems a lot more familiar. It's easier to want to be a part of it, and so seeing it, knowing it's going on at a professional level has certainly been a draw.
Right.
The biggest kick I get is watching the Beehive League. When I mean they look like, and I forget what the age level is, but I mean they just maybe 4, 5 or so, but they look like a swarm around the ball, and I don't know if Beehive League is correct terminology.
I think that's probably a fair assessment, certainly of U5 and U6. We did something unique in those age groups several years ago. We noticed in the Beehive League, most of the time, the ball was out of bounds. And so we actually took a stopwatch.
The whole mob would go out of bounds chasing the ball.
And so about 70...
concession stand.
Or the restrooms.
You tell them we're going that way, and they just keep going that way. But about 70% of the game, the ball was out of bounds. And so again, we didn't have a ton of money as a league, and so I said, well, what if we get a bunch of straw bales and put them around the outside of that? And so we put a bunch of straw bales. Didn't know how many people had allergies and how many moms would get upset about kids getting scratched with straw and hay. And so luckily, a year later, we found a company that made us some custom inflatables. And so now there's inflatable boundaries on those, and so the ball stays in play. So
it's
kind of like
pretty awesome.
Kind of like with the bowling alley, they have
the
guards.
exactly.
These blow up in the air and they're round. Now the kids like jumping on like a playhouse sometimes, but it keeps them corralled. My daughter played, and she would have never made it out to never play again if I would have had those bumpers up there. So that would have kept her on the field. But
I think one of my favorite visuals is when the kids get a full steam straight at that goal, and they'll miss just a bit, and they'll bounce so hard off those bumpers straight back onto the field. But I think the kids love it. I mean, I think it's not only from a participation standpoint to keep the ball in bounds and really have them out there playing as much as they can, as long as they can, right? That's important, but I think it's nice to be able to, have one place. I think they all enjoy being out there and they keep it going, and we're not chasing out to the concession stand.
How many of those fields do you have, or would they make? How many would be going on Saturday or weekend?
Right now we use all four. We have four, and we use all four of them. Yeah, and so.
Until 3 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well stocked.
Jamon, so obviously you can hear us on WGNS right now, but also we're on YouTube, Big G TV. So show us what you got around your neck for those that are looking online. So
for everybody out there, I'm always wearing a big chain. So I got a chain for all the sports teams that I'm a fan of and organizations I'm a fan of, and this is clearly one of those. But it's a cool thing. Like I enjoy wearing it, gets eyes and attention, but mostly on the weekends with the kids, with the teams I coach, our player of the game, I'll present the big chain to the player of the game on my select side. On recreational Saturdays, I have fun games out for just one-offs, soccer, tennis, and things of that nature. And if the kids are able to beat me in the game, they get to wear the big chain, take a picture. We can post it online and show how they beat coach at whatever game we're playing or whatnot. But most of the time, I win, so there's that.
And I don't mean to get too off topic, but with that large participation group, like you said, 3,000
plus, yeah.
How do you find the opportunity to practice?
It's challenging.
How much time do we have?
So it is a bit challenging. We start at 5:30 and go till 9 every night, and so either an hour and a half blocks. We use obviously the Rotary Soccer Park. The Parks Department has helped us use an area behind Smyrna Elementary School. For those that were old school Smyrna Elementary School, the area to the right, if you're facing the school, was our original home of the soccer league in Smyrna. But there's an area in the back that's a practice area, and so this year we went out and rented lights to put back there, and so we spent almost $10,000 to put temporary lights back there for the fall, just because we needed the extra space. And so then again, long term, we're looking to try and find some more land that would allow us to grow. In the spring, we usually get to have some access to Sharp Springs Park, and so it's a balance, because especially in the recreational space, we like to let coaches pick their practice days and times, right? So if somebody's willing to volunteer, we've got 130 something coaches some seasons. It's pretty hard to tell them, hey, you got to practice on Wednesday at 6. And so we try to be flexible with the coaches, and so a lot of that is a juggling act to try and squeeze everybody in, but for the most part, we get it done.
Talk a little bit about y'all's history, because Wayne and I, being in Rotary, we were instrumental, the club was, with helping get it from Smyrna Elementary. But talk about the beginning years of soccer in Smyrna.
Yeah, so we just celebrated our 40th anniversary 2 summers ago. Really excited to get to have some folks back that were part of that. and some of the town council came out to celebrate with us, and obviously the Parks Department. But started as a league in 1984. Technically it was the 84-85 season. Depending upon who you ask, they'll tell you it's 85 or it was 84, and I think it's because it was we started in the fall and we went to the spring. And so that group grew over there. It was pretty big for soccer leagues back in the day. There weren't a ton of them in the state of Tennessee, and so pretty innovative, lots of great people. I started playing in that league. My family moved here from Ohio, and when we first moved here, I walked into Rexall Drugs with my dad, and H.G. Cole said, your son there looks like a soccer player. You should sign him up. And so it's when I met H.G. Cole, and he was a big part. What's that?
We're sorry.
We're sorry. Yeah.
I was hoping to mention him because he's been so relevant.
He's been a great steward of the game and of the town, and certainly of recreation generally, but soccer specifically. And so then the competitive group started several years later. It started off first as a middle school program, so middle schools played, and so they put a team together and played against middle schools. And then the following year, a gentleman named Ephraim Garcia and another guy named Mark Michelson. A lady named Debbie Garcia was actually the brains behind the operation, but they started a travel team. And it was a combined 4 age groups. It was basically like what would have been a high school team when we started playing competitively, and we were not competitive. I think most weekends we lost 10 or 15 to nothing, and we were happy if we got the ball into the other half. and so that was the early days of what competitive soccer looked like here. So again, just celebrated 40 years and certainly going strong.
So as far as the board, how often do you meet, and how long, and where, and what does that entail? Because I suspect, I suspect your spouses are going. How long?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Robert can answer that because his spouse usually comes with him to those board meetings too. 'Cause she's also on our board.
Correct.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so the board meets once a month. Obviously, a lot of activities. Sometimes in terms of the length of the meetings, a lot of times it depends on the month, right? So obviously, as we gear into the spring season, we've got a tournament also on the select side that we are planning and preparing for. So those meetings typically will go from, I don't know, you guys could tell me if I'm wrong. Sometimes we just lose sight of time because there's so many topics. But I would say, the meetings will start at 6:30, and we've gone till 9:30 sometimes. And a lot of times it's all good problems. We're, just trying to, as our club continues to grow, we take a lot of responsibility in doing it the right way. There's a lot of families, a lot of children, a lot of partnerships we have, and it's really important that we give the proper time, right? So with that, obviously, just becomes, when you have a volume of topics to cover, and my wife, who's on the board, she likes to say we have a lot of people that like to talk. I don't know if I should be offended by that or not. But I think it's called lots of passion in volumes, right? No, but in all seriousness, I think it's just, as our clubs continue to grow, as Tommy mentioned, having to get lights out to Smyrna Elementary, right? We get feedback from the rec coaches that say, hey, as the sun starts to go down, we don't have enough time, right? And so as a board, we try to be everywhere at one time, but just like any organization, that's impossible. And so we really want to value those opinions and say, even if I'm not, or one of us are not coaching out there, clearly there's a concern, we need to address it. And so now we have to go about, okay, how do we source lights? How do they get there? How frequent, how long do we need to have them out at the site for? And that's just one of those topics that just takes time. So it's, I think, all good problems, in my opinion, that make the meetings take a bit of time. So
yeah, and on top of that, we are a nonprofit organization. We have a volunteer board. Thankfully, we have people in the community like Robert who are passionate about the sport, passionate about the club, and dedicate their time to it. But with that comes also a board of people who have other things going on in their life. And so the meetings do end up taking a long time, but it's mostly because we want to be thorough and efficient and get things done from month to month and not kind of just throw things out and have to continue to communicate multiple times throughout the month, because those volunteer board members also have careers and kids and families and things like that. So that chunk of time is a lot for that one day, but we are able to get things moving forward in that amount of time and then not have to really discuss them much until the next meeting the next month. So a lot of that has to do with just kind of that dynamic of the organization that we run. We have 3 full-time staffers, and that's it for a 3,000 family organization. And we want to continue to keep pushing forward and make the product as best we can for those members of our community. So that lends to those board meetings not being 30 or 45 minute, like check, let's get out of here type situations.
Exactly. And when you're a nonprofit, you're always looking for money, and you have to be very cognizant of how you spend
it. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Agreed. We got awesome guest with us today, and the Stones River Football Club, and we're going to take our first break. Be right back with you in just a minute. God, we flew through that one.
South Central Bank has 2 CD specials that will help your money grow. South Central Bank has a 5-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 4.15% or a 25-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 3.8%. 2 great ways to put your money to work. You choose the term that works best for you. $500 minimum balance to obtain the APY. Stop by any of our convenient South Central Bank locations today and take advantage of our 2 great rates. South Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
It takes all of us to power a community, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by Old National Bank, the law offices of John Day, and AmeriCare Pest Control.
Friends? Yes. The financial partners whom you've built a relationship with at Old National Bank are still at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard location, right here in the borough. And so are the warm, homemade cookies.
Cookies are ready, dear.
Like Grandma used to make. If you need online and mobile banking, Murfreesboro's Old National Bank does that too. You and Old National Bank, better together.
Old National Bank at 2230 Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard. Old National Bank, member FDIC.
Let's check those WGNS Good Neighbor events. Please give the gift of life. Phone the Red Cross at 800-RED-CROSS. And make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Oh, the Smyrna Lions Club's Sweetheart Dance is Saturday night. That's Valentine's Day, 6:30 Saturday night at the Smyrna Event Center. For more information, get with the Smyrna Event Center. That's this Saturday night. And for your well-being, don't forget, that's Valentine's. You've heard us talking about how yoga improves your flexibility and balance. It improves posture, supports good joint health, and enhances your cardiovascular health. Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department offers yoga classes at Sportscom, the Patterson Community Center, and the St. Clair Senior Center. Phone Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation for information about their yoga classes. Learn more about the history of our community. Head over to the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse, Saturday anytime between 9 in the morning and noon. Just drop by. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Plenty of cloudiness for today. Highs top out near 72 degrees. Wind south-southwesterly 5 to 15 miles per hour. Higher gusts possible. I'm Phil Jensko from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Right now it's 58.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. If you've recently changed your phone number or email, make sure you update your details at mte.com. It's the best way for MTE to reach you quickly with important outage updates.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne, and we're having a great time this morning with several gentlemen from the Stones River Football Club, and Tommy Williams, Director of Coaching, Jamon Brady, Technical Director, and Robert Cope, the Treasurer, all members of the Executive Board, I presume. And, glad to have you. And, again, I'm getting edified this morning about soccer. So go whichever direction you want to go.
Thanks again for having us.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Talk about your programs. What all y'all offer, and obviously you're a nonprofit. How does a person, y'all got a website, how does a person find y'all? So one, if they want to donate, or two, get their kids involved in your program.
Absolutely. StonesRiverFC.org is our website. They can register there for recreational programs, youth and adult. The competitive side, we do tryouts on a year, around a full year schedule, but our official tryouts are set by our state association, Tennessee State Soccer Association, and so those are in May and early June. But yeah, go to our website, you can register. Recreational registration closes in a couple of weeks, so if you're interested in getting a player into soccer from 3 to 99, there's probably a place for you. And so we do start them really young. We begin with a Ripples program. Ripples program, that was a nod to the Stones River thing. Somebody thought Ripple seemed like a water theme was the thing, but it's our introductory program. Not sure that still makes a ton of sense, but we used to, as a club, we were called the Rapids, and so the little ones were called the Ripples.
Oh, okay. I got
I'm not sure where the Rapids are on Stones River, but
this weekend you'll know where they are.
Yeah. Might see some this weekend.
Just over the dam.
The Ripples is an introductory program. They just do Saturdays, so they show up. We've got a great group that volunteers that run a program just to get them introduced to both a coach and following instructions, but also just getting them moving. And so they take soccer balls and dribble and go pick up rubber duckies and knock over inflatable cows and silly things just to get them activated and to get them, again, just out and get them moving. And then recreational soccer begins at U4 with us, and so then they sign up for that. They play that all the way up through 18. And then again, we have two adult programs. One is what we call our Fun League. It's called the Fun Adult Soccer League, which we called Fossil, which people thought that meant old, and so a lot of the people that played in that league didn't care for that name, so we just call it the Non-Competitive or Fun League.
The Methuselah League.
And then we also have a competitive league, which plays 11v11, which is unique in the adult space. And so they have 6 teams usually, and play each weekend, practice during the week, that sort of thing. And then on the competitive side, this last year we actually launched a pre-select academy, which is to transition players from recreational soccer to the competitive side. And so that begins at U8, and then the competitive side begins at U9 and goes through 18. Same time, we have a developmental academy, which is a recreational program that Coach Jamon runs. That program is a supplement to recreational soccer. So when you're dealing in a world where you have volunteer coaches that some have a lot of experience, some have very little experience, it's a supplemental program where they can go there and pick up some technical skills training with a licensed coach that knows what he's doing. And then this year, we're excited for this spring, we're launching a top soccer program, and that's a USYS federation program. It's the outreach program for soccer, and so it's geared towards young people with disabilities. And so we want everybody to have access to the game and to be able to be part of that. And so really, really excited to get to launch that program this year. And so we've been working with some of the different groups that serve that community and trying to get that program underway this spring.
I guess there's a lot of competition between the local communities, between Murfreesboro and Laverne and Nolensville and I guess different areas of Nashville that, you really kind of butt heads maybe competitively. I mean, competition breeds excitement, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, the youth soccer landscape is no different than other sports. There's always going to be somebody that's competing with somebody else. You hope that there's a place for cooperation and collaboration. Certainly a program like Top Soccer, we've leaned upon other leagues that have top soccer programs to figure out best practices and what resources we could share. The recreational side, we hope that everybody's kind of doing it for the same reason, get kids playing a sport, get them active, let them have fun. The competitive side is probably the piece that you would be alluding to when you're talking about butting heads and being because
that's how you feel though. You're being very vanilla. I'm kidding.
As Robert said earlier, if you get these ratings, you poke the bear, you might get it. But look, as a club, we believe that we can offer young people every opportunity that they can get anywhere else, but we do it in a different way. And so accessibility is key for us. And so a player can play competitive soccer with us for $500 a year. In our opponents or quote unquote competitors in the space, it's $1,200, $2,400, $3,600 for the same experience. And to be honest, a lot of times, especially on our boys' side, we win. And so we think what we do is a little bit different, but it's not to say what they're doing is wrong. It's just different. Is that politically correct enough?
Yeah. And Jamon, just I think what maybe something that would be insightful is, obviously different price points come to different opportunities, but, Jamon, maybe talk through some of the opportunities that your team specifically has had, some of maybe the Nashville SC Academy affiliation and things like that.
Yes, it was brought up earlier, what kind of impact does having, a professional soccer organization have in the community that we're in, and it's a big one. I mean, not necessarily as we can measure from the kids coming into the sport, but the kids that are a part, that become a part of the sport, having something locally that they can see and aspire to. Like again, me growing up back in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't anything really for me to look to as far as a professional and career in soccer concerned, period. Like not even coaching or whatever, like it just wasn't a visible thing in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And so any opportunity was going to come from going overseas, which was completely terrifying to me as a kid. So to have that, or have an organization like that here in town where they can go with their parents and sit and see professionals and go to events around town and get to see professionals, but then beyond that have players from their team be recruited into an organization that is grooming those professionals is huge. And so as a club, we've had kids at multiple age groups, that have been recruited into Nashville SC's Academy program, and are succeeding there, and then being recruited onto the youth national team with U.S. Soccer. So to be able to have those things tangible for you to say, hey, my friend that I played with since we were 8, no longer do I play with him. We still talk all the time. I spend a night at his house, but he's wearing Nashville SC gear when I see him now, or he's went out to California for a youth national team trial. Those are not words I would have ever said as a kid, and so that side of it changes, the focus and the dynamic and all those things about the sport, and again, a vision for a child to have that down the road future that football's always had here, that baseball's always had here, and those things. So there's that side of it. But then on just the whole select soccer and the traveling side of that, the more competitive a team becomes, the further their reach comes as far as competition's concerned. And we've had teams not just perform well on the state level, but perform well on the regional level and perform at a national level. And this year particularly, we have a team going to, at least one team going to the national championships this summer in Salt Lake City. So, for me, as a coach, it's amazing to be able to be a part of something like that. As a player that played, again, back in the 80s and 90s, I still now try to imagine my parents being told, hey, your son's played on a team that's done well enough. I need you to hop on a plane and have him play somewhere else. They would have, I think they would still laugh now at that concept. But with the mobility of us as a community now and all of those things, it's really quite cool to be a part of something.
It's kind of a sign of the times.
If
you've ever been a dance dad or a dance mom,
very much so.
They travel all over the country.
Very much so.
Any of the summer sports now outside of football I can think of all have a traveling thing that goes somewhere, and that
all over the place.
That pay to play
yes.
is very prevalent in today's society, where it wasn't when, like you said, when we were younger years ago.
Yeah, literally 2 weeks ago, I was in Arizona. Actually, a week and a half ago, I was in Arizona with my oldest team. They're U15, so they were competing in a National League event in Arizona. And on our way out, flying out on that Thursday morning, airport was filled with kids wearing dance or cheer, not sure.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of soccer kids, and then a ton of girls again, cheer or tumbling. I'm not sure.
Orlando, that's all the cheer stuff over the next 3 weeks in Orlando.
And so it was just crazy to see that
group leaves.
It was crazy to see that many families heading out for sport on a Thursday morning at 6 a.m.
Right.
It's like, this is insane. But that is the sign of the times. You can get on a flight now and go from here to London any day of the week, which is nuts. In my realm of thought of how travel and how accessible it is to get from one place to another now. So yeah, definitely a sign of the times for sure.
The elephant in the room for me is, here we've had soccer since the 80s. So we've 40 years of soccer. What's the deal on the world stage?
Hey.
I'll take that one. So first, shout out Emmanuel Arias Barrios, one of a former Stones River player, Nashville SC Academy player, just got called in the U16 national team. So I'll begin by saying it's gonna get fixed with the next generation that hopefully is getting produced at places like Stones River, Nashville SC's Academy. Obviously on the women's side, definitely set the standard for the international game. Most of the rest of the world didn't put resources into women's soccer. U.S. women's national team set such a standard that everybody else raced to catch up. Sure. It's probably a lot like basketball and the Dream Team. The Dream Team set such a high bar, the rest of the world said, wow, what is this? And went nuts. And so the women's game has caught up a bit with the women's U.S. national team. The men's side is just a different deal. From a standpoint of some of it was cultural. We've just told the story of 40 years of soccer in Smyrna, but 40 years ago, competitive soccer in Smyrna was 4 age groups playing middle schools, right? Middle school teams. So as the standard at local levels gets better, the standard at senior national teams and junior national teams is going to get better. And I think right now we're going through a transition. A lot of American players obviously are developing and playing in MLS, but a lot of them are going abroad. and so when they go abroad, they face a whole host of challenges. They're an American, which immediately means their value on the transfer market's $20 or $30 million less than if they were from the UK. But fighting for playing time and roster spots at big clubs, and so you hope that means that over time that standard gets even higher and higher and higher too. And I think most would agree that the quality and the standard of MLS is improving, and that only stands to benefit the player pool, right? So if you've got however many players are playing at the youth level, you've got to filter that up to elite players at the top. And I think as a federation, U.S. Soccer is our governing body. They're trying to clean some things up in terms of how they run the youth game. Unfortunately, I think everybody wishes we could solve the pay-to-play model, but we're just a different size country too, and so all of Europe, each of those countries have a different scouting process than we have to do here. You've got 50 states geographically so spread apart. It takes a different model, and we've still been trying to figure it out.
In the majority of those countries, that's their only sport.
That is the key.
Yeah, I mean that's a big piece too.
You know, obviously you just got back, and they, as a country, they support that one sport for the most part. There's little bits here and there, but Wayne and I are pretty fanatical as far as sports go, and you know, we open our show just about talking about sports, and we're from baseball, and then we're in the fall. We got our college football going on and our pro football, and we can't wait to get baseball back around in the springtime, and we're going to have soccer in there at some point, and we haven't done it yet. But, we'll work on that.
Tommy, watching you there was like watching a younger version of H.G. Cole.
Hey,
he is so passionate about soccer, and you know he'll ask me, hey, have you been to a Nashville game yet? And I said, yeah, I went. I've seen the Titans several times.
Look, I take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
H.G. Cole has obviously been a mentor and a great friend of soccer in our community. And but yeah, look, I'm a fan of everything. I grew up playing every sport in town as well. And so I'm probably a bigger fan of college football than I am from a fan standpoint of anything else. And so I think that's part of what makes soccer cool is a lot of our folks come from different things, and we hope that we foster an environment where we encourage kids to play other sports. We think it makes them a better soccer player. Yeah. There does come some point when they probably have to choose, but I don't know that anybody's figured out what that time is. Mm-hmm. And so but yeah, it's a different sport, but I think demographically we've changed as a country quite a bit too, and I think part of that is slowly changing some of the generational pieces, right? Mom watched soccer, dad played soccer, mom played soccer, dad watched soccer, and then their kids are going to do it too.
How much is the NCAA involved in all this? Because, I mean, with the influx of the NIL right now and how out of control it's became, what's their in the soccer world, where are they at in all this? Because we're really going to have a revamp of the whole NCAA. And no offense, but attorneys have really gotten involved with this, yes. And it's kept it in the courts, and they've basically said hands off now, and it's a free for all until finally we all come together. But how do they relate to this?
Our sport's unique in the fact that again we were just speaking on kind of on the global scale. The pathway to get to a professional level of our sport doesn't pass through college as likely as most other sports do. For most sports, most of the major sports in our country, college is the pathway to professional. Right. Here, our kids out of our club are getting recruited at 14, 15 years old and could be on that pathway to be a pro at that age. And so college isn't even a part of that process. And those that are going to play in college oftentimes are just using that as a vehicle to continue their education and move on from there. So as far as that stuff's concerned, haven't seen a huge bump in that changing that trajectory, because ultimately there's not a ton of money in offering advertisement to a soccer player. There's not as much notoriety or recognition given there. But then again, ultimately that path to being a pro kind of bypasses the college level. I mean, if you look around the world, some of the top players are coming in to being on TV and playing first team minutes at 17, 18 years old. And that's kind of the trend in the direction that the sport's moving, is younger and younger. And it's one that can be played if you physically matured at 17, you can run around with a 28-year-old fairly well on a soccer field. And so that movement has kind of redirected traffic from, getting to a Division I college school and trying to play there and then playing 2 or 3 years and hoping to get drafted out of college. That still happens, but it's not the path of least resistance as far as it's concerned. It's more getting involved in a organization at a young age and moving through that way.
I think one other piece, just to I think what you were also alluding to, is like some of the stuff that's impacted other sports has had its ripple effects in soccer. Yeah. So as a lot of these things, like the Pavia case, where they're getting extra years because they played JUCO or community college or whatever, all of that's had a ripple effect into the soccer community. And so, because if you're a high school freshman, the soccer has a transfer portal as well, and so a lot of times, especially on the girls' side, there's more scholarship opportunities on the girls' side than there are on the boys' side because of Title IX. And a girl that's graduating from high school is making a decision: do I want to go play for a Division I school and sit the bench for a couple of years, or do I go to a JUCO and potentially even not start the clock, or go to a smaller school and get to play and then transfers to somewhere else? And so the dynamics have changed a bit, and it's made it a little bit harder for high school athletes to find spots, because if you're running a Division I competitive program at the boys or girls side, can you get a fourth-year starter from another program, or do you want an 18-year-old kid? Mm-hmm. And so it's not that different than college football in that regard.
Yeah, and same with like tennis. Those that play tennis, it's not so much the collegiate route that ends up getting you to that next level. So you're kind of playing it through those tournaments and those special leagues to be able to get through that.
The college season's prohibitive a bit too, and so U.S. Soccer is trying to work with the NCAA to figure out if they can rework that, because the current college season you just play in the fall, and then the spring season's an exhibition season and you just train, so you go from high school and youth playing year-round almost to college soccer and playing just a few months. And so they're trying to find some answers and some solutions there.
Great. All right, we're coming against our second break. Let's take it real quick. You're listening to the Stones River Football Club with us in studio today, and we'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris. I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem's not going away.
Lace up your best kicks for a night of impact benefiting First Shot. Join us for the annual Sneaker Ball presented by Venture Express. Spend Sunday, April 26th with NFL Hall of Famer and Super Bowl MVP Marcus Allen. The event kicks off at 6 with a VIP meet and greet at 5. Reserve your table today. Call Coach Andy Herzer at 615-631-5312. We'll see you at the Sneaker Ball, benefiting First Shot on April 26th.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily. Premiere 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
And welcome back to the third and final segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And certainly been our pleasure to have from the Stones River Soccer Club, Tommy Williams, football club, I guess. I'm sorry, pardon me.
All good.
Either or,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Tommy Williams, Jamon Brady, and Robert Cope. So I presume that this program is not for free, and although you are a nonprofit, it still takes some dollars to run it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we haven't gotten to it yet, but one thing we always start all of our meetings with is talking through our core values of fun, accessible, meaningful, and lifelong, right? And so obviously each one of us could talk through what those mean to us, but we talked earlier about the price point of the cost of what it takes to play as part of our club, and one thing that we pride ourselves on is that accessible piece of our club values. And there's obviously a club of 3,000 people, lots of infrastructure, 3 full-time staff. On the select side, we've got coaches that are highly licensed, that are obviously making sure that we're producing the best product that we can as a club, as an organization, not only as athletes, but also as young adults, right? And so there's a lot of investment that comes through running our organization. One thing I think is something special about our club is on the recreational side. Typically, we would be sending out for the uniforms. We'd be sending out an order for printing numbers and logos, and that might cost anywhere from $4 to $6 to $7 a jersey. Well, one thing we started doing is in-house, we started doing that internally. So now we've gone out and bought logos, we've bought numbers, heat presses, and we've saved thousands and thousands of dollars that we push back into our club in the form of financial aid for the families in the community. And so while that could be just a natural sunk cost of running an organization, I think when we talk about the growth of our organization, I think not only has our club been blessed, but I think in many ways, but I think one is just great people that have continued to come into our club, right? Whether it's board members, coaches, managers, families, and I think any success at any level is going to be people, right? Even if there's 10 people that are great people, that's not going to create success on a broad scale. And so I think that's been a huge piece of our growth, is great people that have continued to come into our organization. Now with that, obviously we're limited by what we're going to charge and pay charge the families that are participating in our organization. And so for us, one big piece of our club's mission is sponsorships, right? And so we've got great sponsors. If you go to our website, they're all listed there, and some of it's banners, some of it's social media presence, and we're continuing to try to push that envelope, right? And because the way that we grow our club is through improving the offering that we're giving to our families. Now, the challenge is, how do you improve the value of what you're offering without putting the burden back on the families?
Sure.
And so that is something that it's very important, and we're always very creative about trying to solve as a problem, right? And again, good problem to have. We joke about all the time about like, okay, well, if we can, find a different space to play, it's this many more people, and I'm like, okay, well, that would take X number of dollars to get another staff to be able to fund that, to make sure we can support that. And these are all fun conversations, but there's still challenges, right? Because like any organization that's growing, there's always that awkward period where you don't have enough income to grow, but you still have to support it. And so how do we continue to grow as an organization, have an infrastructure that's going to allow us to continue to grow as we're continuing to fill that void and that gap. And so for us, I think that is the next step of our club growing, is continuing to tap into the community. And we've gotten tons of investment, but I think that probably as we get into the next probably couple years of the organization, we're co-hosting national championships this summer, right? So Jamon mentioned boys national championship is in Salt Lake City. We're helping co-host the women's national championships with Siegel this summer.
Wow.
Right. So a lot of great exposure opportunities, not only at the local level, but also at the national level. So we're excited to be able to continue to entertain and engage with businesses at various levels, because each level is extremely important to our club's success.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of piggybacking that, just sheerly from looking for funding and people that are wanting to partner with us and our mission. If it's in line with what your business does and in line with your mission, we're not just a Rutherford County organization. The teams that we bring up compete statewide. So if you're a statewide organization, any partnership you have with us could mean having exposure across the state. But then beyond that, we have several regional teams as well. So again, regardless of the size of your organization, that sponsorship or that partnership is going to be visible as wide or as broad as you would like for it to be, based on your level of desire to be involved. So definitely looking for all different levels of sponsorship. Love the ones that we have now. The partnerships there have created the opportunity for us to do more things and offer more things without having to, as Robert said, push the burden back on the families that we're trying to serve. But I want to speak a little bit also to the accessibility. We want the organization to be accessible from a financial standpoint. But if you come out any weekend, you're going to see Robert out there. You're going to see Tommy out there. You're going to see myself, and we try to be accessible as an organization as well. So that's another part of it. I think that kind of goes unseen sometimes, but we definitely try our best to be accessible to the members of the community in which we're also serving.
Just like to say, God bless you, gentlemen, for your efforts with our children, because if they're active, if they're busy, if somebody's watching them, they stay out of trouble. They keep them going down that path.
Now that's a huge reason for my overall involvement in the sport. I mean, I know again what's the idle mind, it's somebody's workshop. So we provide a space and a place for play, for relationships and all of that, which, man, is incredible to watch over the years, and to be able to spend time with a kid or families or a group of kids and families and see kind of the ups and downs of that growth. And we all veer from left to right of the path at times, and being able to be a part of that steering and making sure that we're bringing young people up the right way is incredible.
Tommy, I'm going to give you last word. You're the attorney in the room. You always want the attorney to speak last, right? But tell us your
website.
Tell us your website again, and maybe your cell phone number if somebody wants to donate, how they get to you.
StonesRiverFC.org is our website. The most efficient way to reach out to us would be via email. My email is doc@stonesriverfc.org, or Robert, our esteemed treasurer, his is treasurer@stonesriverfc.org. Try and keep that simple. So it's the easiest way to reach us.
Exactly. Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed our show. We were off last week now, and I just thought about that, so it was good to be back in the studio today since the weather. But everybody be safe out there. We do got some rain coming in today, and then this weekend's going to be pretty rough. So Brian will get into that in just a few minutes. But have a good day.
WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Subscribe to Big G TV, local content that matters to Rutherford County.